monk family who are carrying one of the gardens here invited us. The farther we go, the bigger tree we see. They're removing the crops, which is grow it too close. We're trying wonderful sham. I'm very angry now, you know, because I just found why this tree half dried. Typical tea factory. In Vietnam, there are more than 53 minorities, and most of these minorities living in the mountains. Of course, if we talk about all the population of Vietnam, it will be maybe less than 10% of these minorities, but still there are ethnic groups in some villages where just mono group or mostly that group present. For example, in this village we are living black Thai people. It's of course mostly presented in Thailand, with the nation, but still also living in Vietnam. And here we are mostly the same as in Thailand. Actually, they do rice planting. And here's a beautiful terrace, almost flat, but not flat. It's already a terrace, but not so high elevation, but still. And we now here just removing the crops, which is grow it too close for somehow. We can see here that women work on that. If crops grow too close, they need to replace it in proper position and to have really more crops survived after that. It's a very actually difficult work, so we just each crop they move by hand to the proper position. So after that crops grow more efficient and you have more rice after that. So yeah, this is what we're doing. But actually the harvesting of rice is in October. The monk family who are carrying one of the gardens here invited us to the dinner, We don't have lunch today, so we have like dinner plus lunch in combined. And actually, with the most delicious food we tried in Vietnam, it's traditional some Hmong dishes, like for example, like some sauce from crabs fermented like 1 year, and also some wild bamboo, young bamboo fish, and a lot of fresh green, which I actually like. Mostly it's wild. And tomorrow we will go to their tea forest and look how it goes. Try to do some tea. After very good dinner, we're trying wonderful shen from good tea from very old trees. And actually here in the border with Laos, monks for many years already, hundreds of years, harvesting and producing a tea from these ancient trees. So for us it's very important to try. Actually, I already tried 2 cups and I was very surprised. It's something essential. Just tried 3 types of local tea from ancient tea trees. The first one is a 2 leaves 1 bud, second one is 1 leaf 1 bud, and the third one is from 2019, aged, a little bit aged, 4 years aged shen. And always very tasty, and I'm really bit impressed, how to say. I hope we will definitely cooperate with the same family and tomorrow go to look for a tea garden, so it's good. We're lucky today because now is a Saturday and a holiday, so we arrived to a village night market. So people enjoying some music, some street food, whatever.
Ballin' like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin' like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for mine. I got 9, couldn't wait in line. Game time, game time. Locked in when it's game time.
Breakfast. Good morning, dear friends, and today we are very excited about our next journey to the very remote village on the border with Laos. You see the road conditions actually here, also it's because of the construction works. We're just waiting while they finish. All pretty slowed down in the mountains if you talk about the speed of life and anything. Here is also a different climate already, a little bit more hot, a little bit more dry. So there's like dry and rainy season, mostly only 2 seasons during the year, the same as in northern Thailand actually, because it's very close. So here's almost the border with Laos. And we go into the village where they harvest the tea from very old ancient tea trees. We already tried that tea yesterday in a Hmong family, but today we want to see how do they harvest it, because it's very early, but the tea baths already do. Even maybe we try to harvest very early shed. We will see how it happens. But yeah, let's just first wait. They will give us a wait. Finally we arrived to the village. It took a few hours of driving, of very narrow mountain road, but still very scenic place. And we're in a Hmong village. Here also a small factory facility, and we're now preparing lunch. Traditionally how it's made on a floor with a small table around. And what I want to say also, like here Hmong actually lifestyle is very maybe primitive for some reason, but they are pretty aesthetic and civilized at some point. For example, they collecting like birds with family, and also we have pretty beautiful tea set for brewing tea, and all around collecting flowers. So it's a very intelligent family, and still you can see the factory. Let's go inside. So this is a factory actually. We will have here a lunch. It's already served, and you see very clean actually, very small cozy place. Not a season yet. We will try to find maybe fresh leaf today if possible, but season start a little bit later. And this is a small farmer facility. Okay.
Ok đây.
scenic journey. There's very exciting views all around, and all these stone forests, rock formations, very beautiful. All the local people who see us very surprised, because very see maybe foreigner rarely here. We arrived at the location, the secret location, somewhere inside the mountains. Yeah. And here we see a tea garden, maybe a few hundred tea trees. All of those tea trees are around 200 years and up. So there's some tea trees 500 years or more older. So we will go to have a look. Just for example, you can see the size of a tree in this garden. Here not only one tree like that, here are a few, and maybe a few 10 trees like that. The size you can check, for example, in a tourist village when we was a few days ago, there was a 500 years tea tree, and this is way bigger than that one. So I think it really can be 1,000 or something, maybe even more. In China, when I see a size like this, they call it 1,500 or even older. So who knows? And and it's really huge. I think during harvesting we need to climb very high, and it's a little bit tricky. This is older than in the place when we was in the tourist village. But in the first place, in Hajiang, in your friend's place, I think there are also some similar, very old. If you look on the bud, we can see that it's only start growing, and the seed maybe around 2-3 weeks more to be ready for harvesting. So now is the middle of February. Regularly harvesting here is beginning after maybe mid-March, close to April, depending on the weather, depending on the place, because the elevation of also different, and on different elevation, different area in Vietnam, tea harvested a little bit in different time. This red sign means that the government control and also protect the trees, the ancient tea trees here in Vietnam, and the farmer who is responsible and who have these tea trees in the land, he can't cut it, or he can replace it or sell, even just remove it from here. So it's just protection from the government, and it's also you can even go to prison if you do something with that tree. So this is very good. And here also the value of the trees and the tea from such trees are growing. So it's important that no one can do harm to this ancient tea forest. And here we see an example also of Gushucha, or ancient tea tree, also with a number, so it's protected by the government. And here is way taller. And they also cut it, you see, on the elevation like from 3, 4, even 5 meters. So you need to climb pretty high to even more complicated climbing. But you also see the branches a little bit sometimes horizontal, like here, like there upstairs. I think it's because people climbing on these trees for many years, maybe even for a few decades, maybe even longer, who knows. But still, it's very beautiful trees, and here in this garden all the trees is like that. There's actually few hundred trees on this garden, and but still the government don't recognize the smaller trees like that as ancient. So this is a tree maybe also like 150 to 100 years old, but they only mark this one. I do believe it's more than 300, maybe 400 years old. Who knows? In China, as I already told, sometimes the trees like that, people say it's 800 years or something. Не просто. Visited one village and now we go to the next one where we can see even more trees. Yes, so it's for us pretty interesting to research more the locations as much as possible. If we compare this one to the tree that we have downstairs, they said that it's a smaller tree. So let's have a look. Yellow bamboo. Actually, I never seen before. I hope it also maybe yes exists, of course, in China, but I never seen. And you can see our green lights. It look like some permanent pen painted, but it's still natural. And even if you harvest it and do something from it, it still keep this color. Very beautiful. And this is the biggest tree in this garden, next garden. Yeah, it's even bigger than what we just seen. It's very tall, I think up to 7-8 meters. And yeah, like that in diameter. Who knows how many years it is, but I think at least 1,000 something. Yeah, it's really huge. There are not so many of those here, but they will try to negotiate the possibility to pick up the danju cha, how it means the tea from only one tree from this tree also. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Is it okay?
Yes, it's okay. Just thinking. I already start calculating. So this tree is about maybe 20 meters tall, and you see how difficult to climb on it, and they're really climbing, and for some trees it takes 2 days to harvest because it's very difficult. You need to climb on each branch, and it's very risky also, so it's not easy job to do. And this job starts only 3 weeks later. Yeah, you see the tree. Actually, before I only saw such big trees only deep in jungles, not in gardens. But here you see it's a really huge tea garden. each tree have a different season of harvesting. So in general, season is one season, but for example, this tree is ready, but next tree maybe like a week later or 2 weeks later. So sometimes it's a little bit different depending on the tree and also weather and so on. And for example, all the trees here buds are still very young, but one of the tree already have these silver buds. They will grow a little and it will be ready for harvesting maybe in only 1 week already. Mountain finished, and we need to find a lot of great tea. Tomorrow we'll continue travel other tea mountain and to meet more local people to discuss the next step of our Vietnamese project. A local football championship. The typical minority house, and actually here is to build a house now you need to collect the wood about 10 years because or buy a new wood imported from Laos, which is pretty expensive because in local mountains already all the wood is cut down. Yeah. This is why actually we don't destroy the village. They destroy the houses because they need more wood.
You wanna brew some green tea? Very simple.
Very dangerous.
Здрасте. Здрасте. Ой, какой изучайте класс.
대박.
The morning, and we again on the way to new villages to search more for ancient tea trees, because we now start cooperating with local farmers to process our tea, to make our tea here. So we need to find the best ones, and also to deal and to establish relations with local farmers. So this is actually next small forest, and you see even by appearance it's a little bit different from the places we visited yesterday. Because yeah, it's a little bit far, like maybe around 20-30 kilometers from that place, and you need to wake up early to travel to his place. And so we just search for bigger trees and start talk to locals about the harvesting, because harvesting season soon started. So we especially arrived earlier to deal, to make a deal. And here we see a good example of natural fertilizer. Here's like a small chicken and pigs, like I don't know, farm, and they just all the poo comes directly first to the palms, then it's compost naturally, and after that just already with the soil and with some cutted crops together, they comes to the tea trees. So you see how rich tea trees are here with the leaves, so it really helps them to grow efficient. I don't know, joking still, but it looks funny, like all biodegradable circles. It's like yesterday and also super tall. Yeah. Now is you need to climb on the tree to harvest the tea leaves, and it's really dangerous and really difficult, because imagine it's not the top, they need to climb even higher, and also actually local people were not so tall as me, so you need to climb in very small branches and try to collect all the tea. So it's really unusual and really not easy. But this is really brave people, because most of trees in Yunnan, for example, they're not so tall. They are a little bit more flat and more horizontal. Like you see old tea gardens on Bulanshan mountain, for example. So tall trees, not so common for Yunnan, but here in Vietnam there's a lot. We're going deeper and deeper into the jungles. Here is almost no villages, but more wild forest. And now we're going to see the oldest tree in this region. We want to research more. And also we see on the way that some local farmers start planting young trees, because some old tea trees die. So to replace them when they grow up, it will be also a good opportunity to still protect the area and have more tea here later. This is a very scenic view. I like it. One alone big tea tree, also there one, and yeah, some there over here, but super huge. When you look from outside, you don't see, but when you come closer, you see like it's this huge. I think it's at least more than 1,000 years or something, like who knows. And here actually, even in very remote villages, government help to protect the trees. There is a sign on it, and also there is a opportunity to the government helps to grow some smaller younger trees, just to replace the old trees when we will dead, so to still have tea trees in this area. So now, yeah, this is a tree which really good representation of this area, ancient trees, so huge. Wow. Where far we go, the bigger tree we see, and this one is even bigger from what all we seen before. It's really this size. Yeah, it's super huge.
Nhầu cay nó to lại bị chết rồi.
How many leaves harvested from this tree? How many?
Một cái cây mà như cây này thì một năm
Gió to thổi vậy nó đổ nó gái mắt cành kia rồi. Dân cái cây ở trên kia đấy.
Yeah, one
One of the leaf 70 kg. Oh. Hi. Just explain it to the local farmers. They maybe don't know how to, but for example, very bad example of a tree with no one care about, and we need to clean up all the inside and also fight the termites, or a special kind of, not a poison, but some of protection against it, natural treatment, and close with concrete or something to let the tree alive, because some trees can die if you don't do that. Also same here. I don't know how it's alive still.
No,
Thái phí là không được thái.
This way. There. There are just leaves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah.
Growing here.
Super cool. So it's literally the old big leaf. You see the pot? And this is a leaf, actually, this size, you can see. It's all there, like this leaf.
Olive.
And we just brew it like that. And we have absolutely tasty drink. It's sweet. This is actually why we are here. This tree located in absolutely area we can never find, because it's really not even in a tea forest. It's just around some village place. See, it's almost dead. One half is dead, but one half is still alive. It's definitely more than 1,000 because it's this size. Maybe like, and you see a lot of very huge branches. Each of branch like a tree already, and one, the biggest branch, sadly already dead. But hope we will harvest this year from this tree also and make some tea, and also to help local farmers to a little bit make money on it, and also make a treatment for tree, care on it more, and we hope it will survive. At least the rest of the branches will feel better. Yeah, really impressive. I take few seeds from this oldest tree over here. Let's have a look what we can do with it. Maybe it will grow. And here we see actually the old generation rotating fryer machine, roasting machine for tea. Now they don't use it. It's just a metal can, and also it may be even manually turned or even with some motor from outside. But now we don't use it. It's really already almost destroyed, but we can see it still exists here. I'm very angry now, you know, because I just found why this tree half dried. Here maybe some pigs of some other species just take some land out of here, or maybe, and after that some termites go inside and just eat the tree, as many other trees over here. So we need to act immediately, and we just talk to our friend who helped us with our Vietnamese project here to act, maybe talk to Minister of Agriculture of some more higher level to protect, to talk to locals, to let them just treat it. Even we can sponsor it because we want to buy fresh leaf from here, but we also want to little bit care about the trees, because you see what's happening here. It's a tree almost dead, and the rest of the tree also will be dead if no one acted, no one just helped to clean all the termites and just stick some cement, I don't know. But still it needs to be at least have a basement, because it just can fall down because it don't have a basement. Here more soil needed at least. Last time the same roofs I seen in Yunnan, in Lushi, Guzheng. It's a small village in Fengqin County, very remote one, and now it's a tourist place in China. But here also we do the same roofs, and you know why? Because here, the same as we know monks area, we're red monks, we're green monks, we're blue monks, all around here. And also here's some minority which called Safa. Ethnically they are Chinese, and they came here for centuries ago, like many generations ago. Some of them already don't speak even Chinese, but you can see the tombs over here with the Chinese signs in some villages. And this minority also still do the roofs in a Chinese way, how we done. But it's very difficult to assemble. You see it on bamboo stick, and they also use some metal to stick it. And this is just a mountain natural stone. Also this kind of stone often used for tea trays, because very easy to slice, yeah, and easy to cut. So we just make the same pieces like that and assemble like a roof. But now you see here also the more modern type of roof used, like here, because it's very difficult to get this stone now, and maybe not difficult to get, maybe just difficult to assemble, and they not continue to use it. But some parts you see fall down, because it's the most traditional house on my back. You can see so right now the owner's not over here, yeah, but yeah, it looks like that. Some signs on the entrance, some family photos. I like this buffalo. The tombs of local Chinese minority, Safa. We can see a few tombs, some pretty old. As we can see, some pretty more new carved stones. There's some characters. This just looks like handmade because the calligraphy, it's not the calligraphy, just the characters written very simply. You can see like, sadly I can read only a few, like Jai Tian Sui, means maybe like Fu, this is a happiness, Gao Shu. Sadly I'm not so good in reading, especially if it's like, but from the right side I think it's like stay for thousands of years or something. Here traditional tombs of Chinese minority, and also here is also more older tombs, but they don't have any signs. Maybe it was done even earlier, who knows. And actually on the other side you can see that our locals building new house. We're all watching on us very surprisingly, because like when today we was in a village, the most remote village in this area, and they never seen European there. Only maybe some Chinese arrive from mainland China, also from Laos, but not Europeans. So it's pretty remote place. If you think that the cold weather or southern Eastern Asia is impossible, but yeah, it's possible. And even just we traveled only 400 kilometers, maybe even less, 200 something, and it's very cold here. We're on the border with Laos, but southern than the area we was before. And here's very cold. Here's a place for growing oolongs and also growing salmon actually. So we'll go to visit some factory, but first breakfast. Yesterday all day long we drive to the Song La province, and this is the capital of Oolong tea production in Vietnam. And one of the factories we're now visiting and want to try local tea. Actually it's very cold here, and all this foggy atmosphere, foggy weather really seems like Taiwan, seems like southern Fujian, where a lot of Oolong tea production. So it's very different. I really feel myself like in Taiwan, because it's maybe 15 degrees different between the province we visited yesterday.我知道在台湾可以做那个发酵的乌龙茶啊。不错，每个农场有自己的方式，自己的想法。Because the factory is owned by Taiwanese people, so of course we meet the manager and she speaks Chinese. So we speak very good about the tea here and what we do. We mostly grow oolong tea tree, and also we're now trying a very specialty production. It's a pile of just orange, a small orange, and inside is a black tea made from oolong. It's really similar to some, like shu pu'er in orange, or even suangan cha from Taiwan. They do fermenting, or it can be different citrus fruits, around 100 to 200 grams, big fruit, dried fruit, and inside the fermented oolong. But here they do like small bunch. It's very useful. You just put it all into a teapot and it's ready. Like here you can see, yeah, and it's very beautiful and actually very tasty. Between the seasons, here there's some maintenance of the equipment of the factory. Factory is pretty big, and we see a lot of machinery. They prepare all the machines to the spring season because it starts only in 2 months later. And here, yeah, it's typical machines for Oolong processing. So we see roasters, we see machines for rolling, we see machines for pressing the shape for Oolong, like this machine that this master working now on. That's making a big cube, and also some machine to create balls for also rolling. Of course, machines for drying. A typical tea factory with a pretty big amount of production because we have more than 100 hectares of plantations. It looks like the teleportation to the southern Fujian or to Taiwan because it looks completely the same like in that areas. A lot of fog, pretty fresh, especially during the winter. High mountain area, here is elevation about 1000 and Oolong tea trees everywhere. It's all machine picked, machine cutting of course, but yeah, it's typical for Oolong because after they have a lot of processing, including roasting, rolling and breaking and so on. So finally we have very tasty Oolong tea from here. In this place, not only teas, big production facilities, but also the production of milk. So a lot of milk farms, a lot of cow farms. And what I like here, we have their own local special type of fermenting the wheat for making, for feeding cows actually. Regularly we just, as you know, in Europe, we just dry wheat, like not composting it, but they make a kind of a compost, ferment wheat, add some other different species and plants, and they have a special feeding material for cows. Maybe it's also common for different regions, but I just see it for the first time, so I think it's interesting. And here is a hydroelectric power station number 3 on our way. And this one is the most historical one. Why? Because it's the first hydroelectric power station in Vietnam. It's built only in 1985. For that time it was the number 1 in size hydroelectric power station. It was built by Soviet Union actually, which is why still Vietnamese relations with Russia and so on pretty well. It doesn't matter what's happening around, Vietnamese value that very much. And they even have a museum over there, like there is like, now we just pass by, I see like 2 buses of officials visiting that museum. There's some machinery, equipment displayed about how it was constructed and so on. And this hydroelectric power plant give electricity to all the region and also provide water to Hanoi, the whole city supplied by this reservoir. It's about 60 kilometers to Hanoi from here, so they have a huge pipe to Hanoi to supply water for the capital of Vietnam. Very special topic about this hydroelectric plant, that all the machinery, all the equipment are hidden inside that big rock. Because at that time was pretty tense relations with China, so Vietnamese little bit afraid about war with China or something like that. So we hide all the machinery inside to make it not accessible for any kind of attack or whatever. Dear friends, we live in Vietnam, and today, we have a last lunch, beautiful lunch of salmon from in Son La province. We still need to drive a few hours to Hanoi. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe my channel. It's still very small. My Russian channel is very small, so my English channel is very small, so I need more subscribers. Please put like, notification bell, notification bell. And of course leave some comments. I very appreciate for sharing this video. We will have a lot of good Vietnamese tea in our shop, so please follow the links below. Thank you very much. Keep in touch.
Thank you.
Well.